Sit down.
Walking around on Earth, you notice that it looks and feels flat, and this has led to millions around the globe to believe that the world is flat. The Flat Earthers movement is documented in the Netflix movie Behind the Curve.
Sky is the limit, probably literally.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Why is it expanding the way it is?
If you get online, you'll see so-called evidence that seems scientific, and you go, huh, maybe they're onto something there.
They find this audience that takes them as gospel.
I just want to feel comfortable in things that I believe.
We're trying to get to the point where it's accepted.
It's today's conspiracy theory that we're tackling as part of our Conspiracy Week series, and we have people from both sides. We have flat earther Mark Sargent, who joins us live from Seattle, as well as our space expert, Brad E. Tucker. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Mark, let's go to you first. What exactly is the Flat Earth model?
Sure. The Flat Earth model says that we are not living on this little blue globe flying through space at incredible velocities in an impossible universe. We are living on a stationary, flat, round disk that is covered by a dome. And it's, despite what your model says there, it's not floating in space. It could be sitting anywhere. It could be sitting on my desk right now. There you go.
And Mark, when did you first come across the flat Earth theory, or is it something you developed yourself?
No, I didn't invent the flat Earth theory by any stretch. I looked into it in 2014, and like most people in the flat Earth theory, I tried to disprove it and thought I could shoot it down in a weekend. And 9 months later, I created something called Flat Earth Clues, which was a series of videos that asked the internet hive mind, hey, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I made a mistake here. And that was in the beginning of 2015. And 4 years later, we've got 9 conferences this year. We have a documentary, tons of podcasts, and we're growing like crazy.
So actually, I just like to interrupt here. Like, one of the points here is that you're communicating to us via satellite and via a round globe, right? There is no way for your signal to get here right now to our studio via a flat surface.
Unless most of the communications are done with fiber optics in the water, which they are. Satellites, by the way, I don't say that I don't believe in satellites. I'm just saying that the NASA High Altitude Balloon Program, which has been going on since the 1950s, can carry a lot more bandwidth and a lot more payload than rockets ever could.
That's right, and I work on that project, thank you. And in fact, you know what, we actually had someone, so Felix Baumgartner, he was this, essentially NASA got a crazy Austrian to jump from a large balloon. And one of the cool things in the video you see is he sees the curvature of the Earth from these high altitude balloons. Like you can actually go, right now.
I sent a snapshot of the Felix Baumgartner jump, the Red Bull jump. And it's interesting because the curvature of the Earth from there, from 130,000 feet, is so severe that it means the entire world is about the size of Arizona. And so I also sent a video and the balloon thing, which you just saw. Look, we've got balloon footage at 120,000 feet, which is absolutely flat. So who's right? Felix Baumgartner, severe curvature, or us? And it's not even us that sent up the balloons.
Well, it's me, because I'll show you in a second. I took a photo
that's the
where you can see the curvature. And I think this is the cool thing.
That's the curvature right there. Sorry, roll that back. That's the curvature of the Earth at 130,000 feet, right there.
Yep.
No, not a chance.
Mark, I've got to ask, have you ever reached the edge of the Earth, if it is indeed flat? And is it a little bit like the Truman Show? Have we got sort of, wooden sides to the Earth? I mean, what's there at the edge of the Earth?
What we're talking about here, no, we haven't reached it. Of course not. Antarctica is off limits to everybody but military and military scientists. The edge of the Earth is far beyond our reach. Being the Antarctic coastline is just the beginning of the edge. And we are talking about something with walls and a floor and a ceiling, very similar to the Truman Show, which is why I talked about in the documentary and I talked about in my clues, which says that, look, why couldn't it be something like the Truman Show? A planetarium, we can see all sorts of fun lights on the sky. Who's to say when you walk out of a planetarium, you're just not walking into a much bigger one?
So who built the dome, do you think, Mark?
Oh, that's a big question. You really want to give that to...
I'd like to jump in, right? My friends have been to Antarctica.
First off, it definitely wasn't us. It wasn't human beings. Human beings had nothing to do with the construction of this place. At that point, you're really going off into one of two areas, which is, okay, an advanced civilization that's much older than ourselves and much more powerful, or the divine. and take your pick. Really, you're just splitting hairs because one man's advanced technology is another man's deity.
And are we the only flat Earth, or are there other flat planets out there with domes? Has the deity or other civilizations built other flat Earths, flat
No,
planets with
that's
domes?
an excellent question, because first off, we would say that anything you see in the sky are just pretty lights. So Venus and Mars and Saturn and Jupiter and all those, I mean, they look spherical, but they're just part of a light show. But could there be other domes and other structures out there? Sure, why not? If I was more powerful enough to build this place, I wouldn't make it a one-off. Not by any stretch. I'd make more than one this.
Sorry, Kate, I just want to do a thought experiment here. So I think we would probably agree that a good cover-up would involve money, right? That someone is paying to cover it up, right?
Lots of money, yes.
Right. So then people would then profit from this cover-up, right? I think that's kind of...
Profit in a way, sure.
Yeah, right. And then so we would say that NASA is complicit in this to some degree, and so they would be the beneficiaries of this, right?
In this case, we're not covering up for profit. We're covering up for power. So yes,
power's
NASA
money.
would be built. And what I'm saying is the only reason NASA was even built, and by that we're talking about the United States military. NASA is absolutely Department of Defense.
NASA's actually civilian, by the way. You can get a job with NASA. You know that, right?
No, I'm afraid not. NASA's
I'm afraid so, because I've worked for them.
Defense. Look, fine. They
So
wear white uniforms, they
I just want to
don't
finish my
carry
line
guns,
of reasoning real quick. So then if there is money involved and then people are paid for it. Now, if I am saying that the Earth is round, which I very much do because I've seen the photos, and the moon and other things, then where's my money? Because my 2008 Ford Focus and my mortgage would disagree that I'm profiting from this.
He's even wearing thongs.
Yeah, I can't even afford pants.
What you're saying is the cover-up would involve millions and millions of people, and I go the exact opposite. I'm saying compartmentalization, need to know. This is one of those things where less is more. You would absolutely keep the fewest amount of people involved. 99% of all the people that are working at NASA don't know anything. They polish capsules and they build fuel systems and they build rockets. The only guys that need to know are the telemetry guys and those guys above them. Scientists, pilots, all the space agencies, except for the high brass, they don't need to know anything.
But
And by the way,
I've done telemetry.
NASA gets a budget of $52 million a day. I think it was been up to $54 million a day. There's money to be had here, but it's not just about money.
Well, but someone has to be making it. So I guess one of the points here is what I'm trying to make is that, you know, we can always go back and forth. You can not believe what I'm saying, and that's fine. That's not the point. What the point is, when we do in science, we create experiments that are reproducible. I can go out and tell anyone when a lunar eclipse is happening, and you can see that the moon is going to look curved. You can see that as the shadow passes over the moon, it is not flat. It's actually, there's an edge to it. I can say, you know what, for $500, you can buy an off-the-shelf balloon, a tank of helium, and attach an iPhone or a Google phone, but sometimes the Samsungs catch fire, that you can see the curvature for yourself. But you haven't given me an experiment that I can do to show what you're saying.
Okay, let's start off real quick. I don't know how much time we have, but let's run them down real quick. Long-distance photography. That'd be the first one. It's the most obvious one that flat earthers jump at, which is if the curvature... Sorry, what?
We just saw an image on screen that I took that shows it's curved, but continue.
Oh, got it. Let's say the curvature of the Earth is what mainstream says, which is 8 inches per mile squared. That's not supposed to be daunting. It's 8 inches per mile, which means at 3 miles, it's 3 times 3, which is 9 is 72, and 10 times 10, it goes further and further to where at 50 miles, you're talking about almost 1,700 feet of curvature. And that's you're looking forward and back. Don't look about left and right now. Forward and back, which means that a boat should go over the curvature of the Earth. It goes behind the curve. It should be gone and gone forever. And yet, and I would have been totally with you there 10 years ago, but HD technology has changed that to where we can see objects way further. We can see objects over the hill, and don't start up with mirages, because we can see these in all weather conditions, all light conditions, almost all distance conditions. We can target them with beam radar, we can target them with infrared, and we can destroy them with military technology. I have experts that will testify to this effect. We can do this all day long. That is a test you can absolutely do on the ground. You don't need space to do it.
All right.
Listen,
we'll have to leave that debate there. A huge thank you to both Mark and Brad for joining us today.
Thank you. I like being here in person. I appreciate it. And I say we take Studio 10 on location. We'll launch a balloon and we'll go see